Hello, we are here. Yes, but trust me, it's rough, but we are here. It's the JSP Spotlight, and it's me, James Lott Jr., the JLJ of JLJ Media, and of course, my work husband, Frank Moran. Hello, Frank.
Oh, look at we're gonna talk about what probably the most remarkable week of General Hospital that I've seen in a long time.
And I'm surprised you said with a straight face that you said that. And got it out fully. Oh my God, right now I want to sneeze. That's the most exciting thing that's happening right now. Oh my God, my sneeze. But we're here. We're here for you. So we can all commiserate together how much we're not happy this week. Here's my General Hospital week that was in Port Charles. The church announcements. I just did the Wine Army Spotlight with Tammy Govea, and Amanda Russ. It's out now. Check it out. Be there or be square. It's out now for everyone. It's audio and video. Also, kids and kidlets, I have an interview out with Taraya. So you can check that out. That's the famous lesbian couple we never see. They're out. Our fourth interview together is out. Make sure you check that out. Also, next week, and Frank doesn't notice either, I have an interview with a TV legend behind the scenes. Her name is Susan Banks. And she started out with YNR and CBS, TV1. We have this amazing interview. It's coming out next Sunday. So we talk about the soaps, Stay in the Soaps, and we talk about all of that. And you want to check it out. So even if you're not a YNR fan or you weren't a TV1 fan or whatever, she talks about behind the scenes from the 80s to now, kind of how Bone Beautiful started, Capitol, Santa Barbara. We talk about all kinds of stuff. So it's a fun interview. It was a lot of fun. And she's
put in some Capitol reference. Nice.
Capitol, okay, Capitol, yes, Capitol kids. It's a good interview. I got a chance to look into my history to kind of bring us out. So it's a good interview. So it'll be out next Sunday. Of course, I gotta sneeze so bad it won't come out. Oh my, it's my life right now.
We're all here for you, James. This is a safe space. You sneeze. You sneeze, James.
It won't come out, Frank. Out. It's stuck like the show. Also, thank you for coming to my Zooms this weekend. They were great, successful, enlightening, wonderful. Thank you. More Zooms in July and August. You can check them out now everywhere. Sign up for those. Also, I'm still wearing this. Want to know why I'm still wearing this? For those who are listening and wearing the different unions in the industry, the WGA, Frank, tomorrow starts 10 weeks on strike.
I assume are you going to be putting just like a little black tape through the DGA portion of that shirt? I
know it should be on that's like right there. That's not show it, Frank. It's like right here. I stop right here. I just stop right here. There you go. It is. Hey, Frank. I got Frank. In my feelings, it is ridiculous. And I can't believe it's 10 weeks. And SAG-AFTRA, Frank, as you may know already, for you guys that don't know, they got an extension.
Yeah.
Frank.
Yeah, that was interesting. So I will be curious. I feel like if that extension does not if they can't make an agreement by the time that extension ends, then I think it'll be time for everybody to get serious about negotiations with the WGA and SAG. But if SAG reaches an agreement, I'll be curious to see how much longer the writers stick it out. But I also know that's important. There's a lot of stuff that's important to them. So I'd hate for them to fold so quickly if SAG reached an agreement now with them. So
I agree with you, Frank. Actually, I agree with you. You're right. It's all tied together. So it's like it will be the reactions. It's all kind of tied together. Like, because the DJ got their little agreement, which about last week have theirs, but the other two don't. So, and they're not folding yet. Well, I'll say WJ has not folded yet. Yeah. Thank you, Shonda, for the super chat. Thank you. Everybody, thank Shonda, please. It's amazing. So the last big strike we had lasted 100 days. So it's totally possible. And now we're talking about the Emmys, the primetime Emmys. Right now it's the whole for your consideration phase. There are discussions on what do we do about that, because the daytime Emmys still haven't even aired.
Yeah.
So it's really pushing things back. So it's very interesting. So we give shots to that. Also, something we're going to talk about that, because this week's General Hospital, I'm like, there's so much I did not care about, so much that it's just the writing. So some of you guys don't know this. It's not the regular writers. It's Dan and Chris are head writers, and they're kind of writing the show, and that's it. The rest are, they call them FI-Core writers, who are not really the ones who are the writers. They're other writers who are not WGA. So you might see some storylines, Frank, that are just, I don't know. It's not that good.
It's but well, it's like I guess if you watch that great Keanu Reeves movie with Gene Hackman, The Replacements, focusing on the NFL strike and the players, the rough and tumble players they grab from all over the place to kind of fill in for them while those players are on strike. It's still, while it was still, not as great football, there were moments of excitement. So I would hope that even if you're using non-WGA writers, these FI-Core, like, come on, guys, give us a little enthusiasm.
That's a great movie. Actually, I haven't thought about the movie in a long time, Frank. That's a good movie. Liked it. I don't know, kids. But all I know is from this week, I didn't see no greatness. So, folks, if you think all of a sudden there's two Frank Morans here today, there is. And James Jr. has a lot to say. All right. First, hello, everybody in the chat. Hello, everybody in the chat. Everybody, hello. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. I see George and Nathan and Sarah and JH fan who says, I'm still a JH fan. Okay. Shonda, Annie, going your girl. Choking Stan, Jacarius, Rodelli, Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer Anderson. I know you.
Yeah, from Friends. She was great.
It's just from Friends, exactly. I'll be there for you. Yes. So how do you guys? Everybody hit the like button, do all that. Okay. This is actually real news, REEL, and real news, REAL, Frank. So we can go into this. Oh, one second before I do that. James, Frank, I read on WGA website that Matthew Sand from FI-Core will be writing the show for Chris and Dan, who are part of the union. Oh, he's getting some inside information. I don't know who Matthew Sand is. Well, Matthew, please deliver. Please. Please, I don't know who you are. Please. Okay. Oh, if you're not following Michael Jamin Writer online, he's my favorite guy. I've been following him on all social media platforms. He's been explaining all this stuff every single day. He's on strike. I love him. I have a crush on him too. Love him. He's Michael Jamin Writer. Follow him everywhere. He is like giving you the breakdown of everything. It's really good.
Well, how come you haven't interviewed him yet, James?
I'm trying. I'm actually asking him. I'm asking him. I want to. If I only had $1 every time I heard that, Jennifer Anderson says that to you, Frank. I love that.
Oh, Anderson. Look at me not hearing it. Then that joke was terrible. You're right. I should not have said that.
There you go. Carol Ann walking the dog. New pup, Jake. Hi, Jake.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, pups. Okay. So it's just real life and real life together. Okay, so I don't know if you heard, Frank. Nicholas Alexander Chavez plays Nicholas. Got a high-profile role on a Ryan Murphy show. Limited series is coming in. Well, they haven't been filmed or anything yet, but he got the lead role as one of the Menendez brothers, which is, there's a big thing going on with them now. Because I have a friend who's part of it. She was a juror. It's a big thing right now. They're trying to get them out of jail and stuff. But he's gonna play on there. So I saw so many reactions, Frank, online. Well, that's if you could see online, because Elon Musk also did some crazy shit yesterday too on Twitter. Saying you can always see so many tweets. That was the whole thing too. There's a lot going on in the world. But folks were saying, bye, Nicholas, it's nice knowing you. He's going to leave. And the Sabrina, I mean, folks are losing their shit. All I say to that is, he may not be leaving. Some folks get little jobs on the side, whatever. But this week, Frank, maybe people are angered that Sabrina is still fighting. They have not had sex yet. And the Esme hymn scenes that happened this week when he was shirtless. So I'm curious to what you feel about any or all of this, Frank Moran. The floor is yours.
I guess it depends on some soap actors. When they come in, they're there for I guess it varies. Some are there for the long haul, like, hey, yeah, I am just going to be I'm entrenched in the soaps and I am a soap actor. And then there are others that are they're there just briefly and they move on. They're a big, bright, shining star. And, they use that as a platform to kind of get to launch themselves to bigger and better things. And then there are some that do come there and then they do find a gig and then they come back as well too. So who knows what that's going to be for? I mean, I know I saw those things on Twitter as well too, where people were like, "Oh, well, I knew he couldn't be here for long. He's too good to be here." So I don't know. I mean, it's not an ongoing series. It's only a limited one. I guess it all depends on how well it's received. If you're looking at like what happened with Dahmer and Evan Peters, who knows? I mean, for as much as people kind of varied over how they felt about that series, I mean, I think everybody, that was like he was a great Dahmer, but I mean, playing that role seemed to have get him a lot of accolades. So. Who knows? Maybe that same thing happens for Nicholas as well, and things happen. But it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be immediate. I think he would come back from. I mean, and it seems what I was reading, as you sure did too, is that he would just be. They're not going to recast him while he's gone. He would be like an off-screen absence. So, as to what they would do with him, my frustrations with the way that they're writing Spencer is that there's there seems to be just like little moments of growth, which is great, and those are always good to see. But man, it's we're still delving around the lesson where he is unable to let go of any slight that he's seen, whether to him or to somebody that he cares about, and he. To his detriment, will hold on to that grudge consistently, and it's just it's a reoccurring thing that and people have called him out on it, but he just will not drop it. And so seeing that sequence again with him taking a swing at Dex in the bar, you're just like, really again? And it's just we've seen this scene already with Spencer and Trina. We've already seen this. Of him being hot-headed and her chewing him out and like, I don't recognize this side of him. I thought you were, you're growing better than this. And she's got to, and then they'll have a nice little conversation in a little bit and things will be fine again and everything's great. But it is frustrating that it just seems to be that's the thing. Nicholas, Spencer just acts hot-headed, and then Trina gets mad, and then ugh.
Yeah, it's the one thing you said is really correct about this. That they give them moments of growth and then they take them back 5 steps. It's very interesting. You're right. It's like, and why are we having to deal with them dealing with Dex and them? Like we don't need to. I mean, yes, 2 girls are best friends. Got it. But why is it always them combating all the time? We don't need to see it over and over again. But the problems that some people are saying that I agree with kind of is they're not really showing enough romance with Sabrina, right? So they want us to feel like they're a super couple, there's a couple. We're not getting it. All we're getting is conflict all the time. And there has to be some kind of balance. That's what couples are. You do conflict, love, conflict, love, conflict, love. That's kind of what makes us go, you love them, you hate them, you love them. You're going on a journey with them. I don't feel like we're going on a journey. It's like a collection of scenes. Like you said, in Greenland, they worked together. It was like they were together, they were like that understanding. But you bring him home and he goes out the window, like he's the hothead again. Like, I get that Spencer is fighting his baser instincts, right? That he's kind of this hothead, spoiled kid. I get that part. I get it a little bit. But and they do show it sometimes. But a lot of times, that's the problem with a lot of characters sometimes, when they have a character where they don't know to either make him one way or the other. I think sometimes you have to make that decision and go, he's going to always be the hothead. Then fully go into it. Not just kind of like, he's great. He's good. It's I feel like they need to fully go in there. And so they're doing, somebody said it, they're doing the Brooklyn Chase thing again, kind of, where it's just like this long, drawn out thing where you're like, okay, there's this young couple. I mean, Ava and Austin had sex before they did. And they've been together for a minute. And it's like, they're one of our young couples. Dex and Josh are all over each other. But see, I have a theory, you guys. I've never shared this with anyone.
Ooh, it's exclusive.
Exclusive. I have a theory. So you guys can either take it or leave it or whatever. This is my theory. I don't know this to be true. It's just my theory. I don't know if this is true or not. I don't think Trina was meant to be. Thank you, Mick Floyd. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Read your comment first, and I'll say my thing. I hate how they play Trina against Spencer because his intuitions are right. I guess, yeah, Dex is lying and Josh is covering, but Trina is totally blind, and to that, Dex is the enemy. Okay. Yes. Okay. So here's my theory. So Mick, hear this too. Here's my theory. Trina was never supposed to be a main character. I don't think she was. I think she was brought on to be the friend of Cameron and Joss. I just have this theory. I don't know if it's be true. I feel like, but through the popularity of the actress, Sidney Michaela, because she was cute, she was good, and she was fun, she got more popular. They started to write more for her. But I don't think she was ever meant to be anything bigger than she was. But it kind of started to write for her because of the popularity. I think, when it came to her and Cameron, they just teased it, right? And then he said, nah. Then there was Dev, and he was like, ugh, no. And so I think there was never this reason. They brought on Rory. That was a dud also. They barely kissed. They barely held hands. They were barely. So it's like everybody else gets to have, because Jocelyn and Humble got sex. Everybody else is having sex and kissing but them. So I just feel like Trina was brought on as a sub character, I think. Then through time, either they realize we have gold or whatever, then Sydney leaves, they recast with Taviana, then the Sprina fan base really got big. And so now almost like they're forced to kind of write for them. They were in Bill Magazine this week, Sprina. Bill Magazine this week. I was saying they're getting attention. The plane banner, I was there. All this stuff. So the ABC knows, and General Hospital knows how big this character is. But I just don't think. I think originally she was a prop for the others. Sometimes they do that. They bring people in just to fill out the friend base.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Go ahead, please go ahead.
I would think my only maybe rebuttal to that would be like, yes, they did bring her in, but then they also started building out her family, and I feel like because she was the gateway to Portia, and then which then led to Portia and Curtis and blah 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 blah. So I mean, I feel like she might have been initially, yes, you could have been just as a prop, but I feel like they decided to kind of invest in her a bit. If they started, like as we always say, if you're going to give somebody like a place to live and a family, then that means that they're considering you've got you kind of made it on a soap.
That's true, and I will say there's not rebuttal. That part is true, and there's nothing rebuttal about that. But I think, and I'm going to say this, folks, and I'll feel however you want to about this. She's Black, and she's the only young Black woman on soaps right now that are not. Days of Our Lives has two possibly around her same age. Well, I think Chanel, and they're using her for some reason. They're not giving her love stories like the others. Watch Days of Our Lives, they're really doing it. They did it on Bold and the Beautiful. They did it on Young and the Restless. They're not doing it right now with her. And I'm like, yeah, they built her a family, and that part is true, but they focus more on the adults still than her when it comes to romance. Most of all that, the whole entanglements that go on there. So I'm saying, again, I'm like, well, why aren't we giving this young Black woman a sexual story? Something rings wrong to me on this. And there's something that doesn't make sense to me. Because you're right. Once you build Christophe St. John, the late Christophe St. John from Line Art said to me, when they gave him an office Like I said, gave him a set. He's like, they never gave a black person a set before, like their own set. He knew he made it. So Frank is correct. Is absolutely correct about that. Usually when you get a set, then something's good. But it's like the adults still, they gave Hat Daddy an Epiphany kind of a story, more of a little more story in a short time than Trina. So I'm just saying, it's like there's something. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I know that they got rid of all the gay characters. There's hardly any, any other characters or any colors there. And this young couple, they're showing Molly and TJ, who are not as young, they're a little older. She's one of the young ones, and everyone else is having relations except for her. I'm just wondering what that's about. Because you're right, she has a family story, the daddy story, all that. She has a family storyline, but where is her romance and love? And it's like it's barely happening. I don't know. I think I almost think it's a race issue. I just believe, I really do. I could be completely wrong, and I don't know. But I would say it's just, to me, it's just odd, because you're right. Now they have the Ashfords. The Ashfords are there. They made her part of the Ashfords. That's a big story. Sean had story. I mean, like I said, TJ had story. I mean, they all had story, but why not giving this young black woman a story like that? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, my hope is that this, that this family sticks around for a good long while, and just it can be like really be a main part of the canvases. Like unlike the Wards, who were, pushed heavily and then kind of fizzled out after a while. So yeah. I'm hoping that does not happen in the case here. Although the way they write Portia, there's part of me I'm like, I'm ready to see you take a hike.
Oh my God, Frank. I want to like her. They're not making her likable.
No, she's and so one last before we get off the Sabrina thing is that whole scene at the bar, why we needed to see the fight with Dex and Spencer. We didn't need to see that beat. I feel like the bigger beat about that is Trina learning that Spencer didn't get rid of the evidence.
Yeah, I know.
And so it's like that is the reason they could actually have a genuine conflict, because that's something they had a huge discussion about, and Spencer just did what he did usually. But that's just kind of brushed aside, and it's just about Spencer just getting into a fight with Dex.
I just want to respond to one person. Cheryl, I see you in the chat. So I wouldn't worry about Trina's sex life. It will happen. She has more class than Joss. First of all, I never slut shame or anybody or sex shame anybody. That's number one. I never do that. Even a character, I wouldn't. But I used to think the same thing. But she is a young person, and you can still be classy and have sex. So I'm just saying. I just think we don't need any magical black people. I don't need anybody to make them live on pedestals. I just want a regular, well-rounded person as a character. And so they've said they love each other, they're together. I'm like, I think it's okay after a couple of years of this. I think it's okay. So, but I think it's more going on with this than we're seeing, because the Esme. Before we go into Portia, we gotta mention the Esme part of him with no shirt on, and she's tending to his wound with a bag of ice, and they're talking about life.
Yeah, you've been there, James. You know how it is.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was there last year.
Yes. I mean, here, let's just take our shirts off and talk about life for a while.
Okay, come, Frank. Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna do it. I just think it's a prop for her. Very much. Esme is a major character on the show. Apparently, that's somebody they've made that very clear. I know, Frank. They made it very clear. Esme's not going nowhere, folks.
As much as they want to. Oh, dear Lord.
She's not going anywhere, Frank. They want her. They want her. They like the character. They want Esme there.
Okay. And that is certainly the soap's right. That clearly there's something interesting that they see in her, or the value in that character on the canvas. If that's the case, then please show it to us. Because what the show is choosing to show us right now, it gives me no interest in seeing this character stick around. Not that this character has to be likable. The person can be, something that you're rooting against, but it's just, it's the same type of stuff with just the ace. Yeah, nobody can like that ace the way that I do.
where's his stuffed animal? Where's his elephant? Or whatever the fuck she was looking for the other day. I'm like, and the thing is, some of you guys are saying things that I wish that's what they're writing. And I will hope that they're writing that. Some of you guys in chat will come up with some great ideas. And if they really hope, and I hope that Spencer is faking. He thinks that she's faking. I wish that Esme was faking and we saw it. Then I'd get into the story. Like, they haven't shown us anything. What they're showing us is Esme is innocent. I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to change my life. And Spencer is single-minded about that child. So I was kind of like trying to figure out it's just, to me, it's like you said, it's just boring. It's not, to me, it's not exciting. And it's keeping him and Trina now separating. That isn't really, I don't get it.
No, and what's frustrating is that, it was Spencer, as I've been saying, it's just he is singular of focus and unwilling to bend his opinion on something. So he will continue to be, singularly focused on Ace, to his detriment, I'm sure. And we get to be there for the ride, unfortunately.
Oh, I know. It's a little much. It's a little much. So we'll get off of that part. Sorry, because okay. But now we went to Portia / Zeke / even Trina was in there too / Curtis / Jordan. I was with Jordan last week. Jordan was the only person I was kind of like, I'm on your side, girl. Because she was just like, everybody leave me the F alone, please. Can you leave me alone? And she's at her place of business, Frank. And here comes Curtis bursting in the door. It's like, who did you told, blah, blah, blah. And then when she was like, no, I didn't tell. And he's like, Nika? And her face was like, I was thinking, yeah, Nika saw us and she felt like she had to go run. Like, she didn't do it. It was like, and it's like, and he's bugging her. And then she says it's Zeke. Well, why would Zeke know what's going on? About you told me. She goes, I was upset. I had a drink. He was a person who was. And then after she told Zeke, we have nothing to talk about. When she opened that door, when he came in, she was like, oh. And there he was. And I loved when they were fighting, when him and Curtis were going back and forth. And Jordan was like, okay, you both are basically a problem. And so you both like, everybody needs to get up out of my office. Everybody needs to go. I did chuckle because I was like, Jordan was just like, I'm done with both y'all right now. I'm trying to live my life. You guys are bugging the F out of me. I thought it was hilarious. That's one of the few actually bright spots because Zeke was getting on my nerves. Curtis is unlikable. That's my man, but his character is unlikable these days. Portia is completely unlikable. So Frank, what do you think?
It's frustrating because it's like, you dangle a WSB connection with Curtis, and that's the thing I'm most excited about. Like, all right, cool. Let's see some of that. But we're not. We just teased you with that, and that's gonna, maybe in a year from now, we'll kind of maybe revisit that at some point. Like, which is just killing me. It's like, GH, don't tease me with like interesting story ideas, and then wait forever if you even decide to even do anything with it. I mean, they could easily be where that was just a day scene, and we never see it again, which would just kill me. Just like, come on, why? That's like follow the fun, like that is more fun. Like, I feel like that's what's killing me with GH is that, and fun does not need to be just only like cool stuff. It can also be sad stuff. It can be whatever you want it to be, but it's just, what is the most interesting part of this story that the viewers want to see, and let's follow that. And I feel like GH is great at teasing and never at follow through or even executing it well.
You always say that. You've been saying it for years. You always said.
Yeah.
You're always afraid of it not executing the execution. You've always said that. Actually, we did a show 100 years. You've always been saying that.
Yeah. Stop it.
And sometimes I know, but you're right. And many times you're right. We have a hard time. Like, we have the baby reveal, so to speak. Okay, so Trina's hers, whatever. Great. You brought Zeke in. He's a lawyer. Okay, great. So let him and Jordan have an affair. Let them do their thing. I'm more interested in that. Curtis and Portia, and maybe Taggart or whatever. Let's have a whole. Then let's have their whole little family drama. Let's have that. I don't need all this other stuff. It's just, you know. And I said, Sean, I did say this. Zeke was a big mouth, but that is his sister. I mean, they're close. As she said, we're close. So he did tell. But I'm like, it's not interesting to me. That part, all that's not interesting to me. It's just like, I don't need all that. You know, and I don't get why Jordan's parenting Curtis by not telling Portia that Curtis asked her to wait for him twice. I know she didn't tell. I said, Grace should have told her. He told me to wait. He wanted me to see what was happening with you. She didn't do it. But in a way, I think Jordan's over it herself. Like, she's just kind of like, I just can't be in the middle of all this anymore. You know, I got things to do. And it's like, she's like, it's just too much. And she slept with Zeke and she was like, F me. I did not know that was related to Portia. So now that's all messy. And Zeke's being messy too. But Curtis is running around here on a high horse. It's like, get off the horse.
Yeah.
Like, make mistakes too. I'm like, what's going on here? You asked a woman to wait for you to see what happens with another woman.
Yeah. Yeah. The moment he did that, it's just like, all right, well, relax, Curtis. You've got no room you can't put on your judgy hat anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
Not anymore. I was like, we did that a few weeks ago. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They really hi from Denver. We love Denver. It's just like, oh, now I'm not on your side.
Yeah.
At first we were kind of on your side because you were lied to. We got it. But now you're just
for him to get all up on Jordan just because why would you tell a stranger something so personal? Like, get out of here. She doesn't need to justify herself to you.
Nope, she doesn't. And why not? A lot of times it's easier to talk to a person you don't know than someone you know. And she had no clue who's related to anybody.
Yeah.
How's she gonna know that?
Zeke wasn't wearing "I'm Portia's brother" t-shirt.
Right, exactly, on his chest. I mean, she had no idea. She was thinking she said she was at a low point. You basically dumped her, and she was sitting there and she had a drink.
Yeah.
That's how they started talking. Shit. That's how it happened. So I'm like, I get it. But it's like, I'm trying to figure out who I'm supposed to root for in all this whole thing. I guess it's Jordan, maybe. I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, who am I rooting for? Because Portia's tired, because Portia's so Esme, I've been wanting to talk to you about the baby.
Oh, yeah.
And Spencer and the baby. It's like, oh my God, Portia, now you're bugging me with this too. She's not letting it go. She is not letting it go.
No, and I was not excited at all about that scene between Trina and Portia. Because at first it was like, well, I didn't even want to hear them talking about Curtis. Like, whatever about that. How can you forgive him, mother? And why are you letting him do that to you? It's like, hold on. You know, at least Portia, she checked it. It's like, I'm not a saint either. Hold on. You know,
yeah, she did say that. She did say that, right? She did say
that. But I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it would turn towards Spencer. And to have them start talking about Spencer. Well, he has been making some efforts. I can see that, but like,
Anyway, she did tell Trina, you're still my baby. I don't know how old you are. I'll handle my she didn't say it this way, but she's like, I handle my shit with Curtis. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me and Curtis. We'll handle that. You stay over there. That's what she said. She went and said, let's talk about Spencer for a second, that baby. It's like, I'm like, I don't know who to root for. They're all just like, it's all a mess. Like Portia, you're pushing. They keep telling you, you're just gonna push her away. It's like to voice your concerns. One thing, yeah, you do voice concerns. Keep a side eye open, of course. But after that, I'm like, you're actively trying to get. I'm like,
yeah, I don't understand how that is not getting through to her. That she can't run her life, and Trina's not going to want her to run her life, and to do so is just going to lead to more distrust and more separation of that kind of closeness that they had. But Portia's just like, I will not stop until Spencer is out of her life.
Another storyline. I'm done with that storyline. Frank, if I never ever see Violet again, it won't be too soon. I'm choking. That whole storyline of her setting up grown folks for a date and they follow through with it was the most cringeworthy thing in my entire life.
Yeah.
I hated that whole series of scenes. The kid's annoying. It is like you're in grown folks' business. It is completely. They're still trying to put Liz and I guess and him and them to get. I was infuriated by all those scenes. Frank, what were your thoughts?
Hey, is there anybody out there that's really crying out for a Finn and Liz coupling? I mean, people didn't like it the first time around, and finally, it seemed like the show kind of like got wise to like, oh yeah, I guess fans aren't digging this, so let's pull them apart. And they finally did after way too long to now have them coming back into this and start planting that possibility again. I don't know why the show was thinking like, yeah, this would be a good idea. Like, and you know what? Maybe it could be 2-3 years from now. It's like, give it a rest, let them get involved with other people. And then if you decide maybe there's a new fresh approach that you could take with that, with Finn and Liz, that might be interesting and could get fans on board. Great. But they didn't even get rid of time to rest. And they're already trying to bring them back together. It's, I don't know how they were expecting the fans going to be like, yeah, this time I really want to see this.
It hurt my eyes. It hurt my ears. It hurt my heart.
But did you want to try some of that night milk or whatever that Liz made?
I'd rather have our bantha milk from Star Wars. And that what I saw on our screen this week. Yeah, right, Cheryl. Why can't Liz just not have a man for a bit? Life can go on. Maxie don't have one right now, but life can go on for a minute.
Yeah.
Cheryl, I agree with you completely. I just think that's just it's the relationship is so messy because he was with her sister, her father was with his wife that she inadvertently killed. I mean, like it lets her down. I mean, like there's just too much going on in there. It's time since you created all that. Let's leave it alone.
Yeah.
Let's like let it die. They can be friends. That's fine.
Totally fine. Yeah.
Friends.
I mean, like a great, give me a new version of the Patrick Elizabeth friendship,
Yes. I agree.
Perfect.
I agree. But I was just like, you have this little girl driving story to a couple we don't give two shits about. Like Vista Trista 7. Oh, great name. I don't care either way about Finn or Liz, but I just want to follow through. Commit to the couple. See, it goes again with a lot of these soap, not just this soap, a lot of soaps too. They don't know how to commit. They give, like you said, they tease us bits and pieces, but they don't know how to commit. And I think with Liz and Finn, it's like, well, Liz isn't on that often. So that's a problem. That's another problem. And Frank and I always talk about all the time. And we don't see you enough, then, Finn is on, but he's parts of other storylines, kind of, whatever. I'm just, bring back Peter. No Peter back. No Peter, no Peter.
Yeah.
Nothing can top the Patrick Liz friendship. Oh, they're good friends. But no, like Finn and Lex are friends. They did it for a second, or they're friends. So I just think it's they're colleagues. I mean, why not? They'd all be friends. I just think it's let Liz be single for a while. Let Finn be single for a while. Like fuck, leave him alone. Yeah, Liz folks will be a head nurse. Like just do that for a little bit. I completely Annie going. We don't always agree, but I agree with you on that, girl. I totally agree. I just think it's just too much. And those series of scenes were not cutesy to me at all. I know, no disrespect to the actors involved, the little girl who plays her, and nothing like that. I just don't care for the scenes. It was painful to watch.
No, it's just I don't need to see those longing glances between Finn and Liz. Like, is this gonna be something? Oh, I better go and be there for the boys in the morning. Yeah, it's just and Violet. Oh boy, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, all right, she was able to get all this done. So such an industrious, 7, 8-year-old.
You use my car to order pizza. And dessert.
Oh boy. Like, what are the odds it was from like a good pizza place? Probably not.
New York does have good pizza. I'm just kidding. Actually, they're upstate New York. I mean, New York City has good pizza, but I don't want to say upstate New York. I can't remember. I've been to Buffalo, but I can't remember if they have good pizza or not.
I would have been more interested in just seeing a pizzeria, getting that order, and go. You're like, do you think this is an 8-year-old trying to fool us again?
Right, exactly, right. And then I'm done with that storyline too. I'm talking about that. Here's the next one, Frank. I'm telling you, this is the greatest. This is the greatest misses week, apparently.
But okay, before we hop on that storyline, that's the thing that kills us, because as we're talking about, contracts and actors and how many days that they've got to be on and stuff. Like, okay, great, and I understand you're trying to fill that. I don't want to say quota, but just that amount, contracted amount for, for Finn and Liz.
Yes.
Fantastic. But that doesn't mean you have to tell lame stories. Like, come on,
exactly.
So many other stories that could be much more interesting than trying to kind of shoehorn this kind of weird, are they or are they not going to be a couple storyline? Please, like, if you're going to use them, do something better. Just do something different. Anything.
Frank is correct about that, because we do know there's quotas and shit. They have contract days and how many episodes, and yeah, I have nothing else to say. I mean, I literally have nothing else to say. I hated the storyline. I have nothing else. I literally have. I rather talk about pulling my fingernails off. I have nothing else to say about the storyline.
I mean, and not to say that every storyline is going to be a winner for sure, but I can't imagine that either of the actors are excited to be like, wow, we're still doing this, huh? This is what they got us doing now. Just kind of circling.
I heard a rumor that Becky Hurst did say that somewhere. I get you guys online know this. I heard a rumor she's not happy with the storyline either.
And I do not blame her.
But we gotta go to another storyline, Frank. You gotta go to
storyline. No, say it ain't so, James.
We're on 41 minutes. We talk about like 3 storylines. They all suck. Here's another one that sucks, Frank. And it's the optics. It's another thing. It's optics. I got to pay $5 million fine. That's all my savings. What I gotta do? I gotta make sure I spend my last moments with. Okay. The Drew Cardi thing to me is a joke. The Drew Cardi thing is a whole joke. Carly did wrong. They tried to warn her. Michael's coming off of a clean, so supposedly. But Drew is laying on the sword for Carly. They've been together a minute. I'm with Sam. Now, when I'm on Sam's side, there's something wrong. In the last couple of weeks, Sam was, I forgot she was in jail too. I'm like, oh my God, this child's got both their parents. So it's this storyline angers me in so many different ways. It's just not, but yes, all of a sudden there's a little shot of Cyrus. I'm like, okay, I woke up for that. I woke up for that. I love me some Jeff Korber, Frank. I was like, okay, I'm up for that. But it is the dumbest story. It's just every turn makes no sense to me. I'm Carly Spencer. I'm gonna get everything back. I'm like, okay, girl, okay. As you're still related to people who have money, so that's whatever. It is. They did wrong. It's like, who even cares that Nina was the one who did it? Who even cares at this point? You did wrong, and they ruined the character of Drew Kane again. That's my biggest travesty. You and I have talked about this ad nauseum, from Billy Miller to this. The possibility of Drew Kane was so big and wonderful. Bringing in Cameron Matheson, who is a leading man on like All My Children, leading man in Hallmark. They've ruined him. I was on Sam's side. That should tell you something. Frank, what do you think about this storyline?
Yeah, well, just imagine, yeah, for Scout, it's, as you're getting older, it's like, oh yeah, both my parents were in prison at different times.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, that's all right.
Exactly.
That's her special two truths and a lie deal.
Right, exactly. Right.
You mean both your parents were in prison? That was for real?
Like, yeah, girls, for real.
Yeah, it was. It's the only thing that is any sort of saving grace of this is the Cyrus of it. And it's such a weird cut in that episode when they bring him on. And it's just like, huh? All right.
That was a weird cut. I mean, I'm always for it though. I love Cyrus. It was like all of a sudden it wasn't at the end. It was just like, there he is.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm just reading my Bible in prison.
My Bible in prison.
And excited about this guy coming. To get Drew into Cyrus's orbit could make something interesting. It's the frustrating thing is, admittedly, the threat of prison for a soap opera character it can be detrimental because it can go one of two ways. One, it's like, oh, this character is just being written off. Right. Like, oh, that's the actor's leaving, they're going to prison. We're not going to see them again. See you later. Or you could do something like a Brad, where he goes and he was already at such a reduced role that we'll see him intermittently over a long period of time. He's gone long enough for him when he does show up. You're like, oh yeah, that's right, he is in that place. Cool. And then there's times when you've got like Jason deliberately putting himself in prison to protect Michael. Or you've got Sonny in there for a little bit until he, saves the mayor's daughter or the governor's daughter or whatever it was, that so he's able to get his freedom. Yes. Or they'll put them in prison, but it's still like, yeah, this is a story point. And it's interesting, like Jason deliberately putting himself in there to protect Michael. Okay, that's a story point. Let's see what that's going on. This is just, I'm willing to forgive the idiocy of it if the Cyrus and Drew of it pays off somehow. If it requires some dumb, heavy-handed, just lame storytelling to get something good out of Drew Kane, all right. I'm not going to like the journey, but if it gets us to a place where I'm like, oh wow, all right, Drew's finally got some kind of cool storyline, then all right, I'll do it. But right now, dealing with this stuff, the fact that I'm with you on Sam. Those are the scenes that I've enjoyed the most, where I see Sam get fired up and just honestly, and from a good place, just laying into Drew like, this is the stupidest idea ever.
Right. For her to say that, you're like, wow, okay.
Yeah. You can hardly walk without falling, and people have to catch you.
My thing, Frank, is I wouldn't mind seeing Carly in prison.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting, and see her and see her claw her way out of that. Because we saw Alexis in prison.
Yeah,
we saw LaFleur go to prison. Why can't Carly go to prison? She got kids. I don't care. He has kids too. The point is, she's the one who did wrong.
Right.
That's kind of stuff. They both went to prison. That would have been interesting. I just think it's a missed opportunity. I think to show Carly really come back from the brink.
Yeah.
But now they're gonna make it into this whole Nina's ticking time bomb because Ned knows what happened when he beats Eddie Maine, right? I guess like that should be the focus of the story. It's like she did do wrong. Okay. Yeah. So eventually, yes, we know it's gonna blow up. Nina's gonna lose Sonny. It's gonna be a whole crazy thing, right? We know it's gonna happen at some point. I'm not even excited about it. I'm like, we know it's gonna happen. But I thought Carly going to prison would be actually an interesting thing. We saw Carly in the institution, yeah, but seeing her in prison would be very interesting. That would be something.
Yeah, especially for something that she genuinely did. She wasn't being set up.
Exactly.
Like in the mental institution, she was being gaslit. She got, she got suckered in there.
Yes.
Thanks to Esme. So yes, so that makes sense. Or not Esme.
I know what you mean.
Yes. What's her name? What's her name? The other of Nina's children that have died. So Nell, there you go. Yes. So you're like, cool. I agree. That would be much. The fact that nobody has said that, and I guess it's because Drew does not. He's falling on the sword, but nobody has said like, hey, I did talk Carly, told her not to do this. And I mean, I guess I don't know what the laws are. I'm not a legal scholar. So it's like, I guess if you're in a CEO of a company who is going to be merging, you can't mention it to anybody that does not work at that company. I guess that is it. You just can't even a casual conversation. You're not supposed to. I guess like that, and those NDAs, like you write, sign for anything. You're not supposed to discuss it with anybody else, not even family members.
Right.
So the fact that Drew did mention it to her, but not in for her to buy stuff, but just that was the plan that he was trying to do for his family. And Carly was like, this will be a great idea. Like, I got to think there's some legal avenue of defense in that. And nobody has chosen to even like use that as any sort of like, hey, this is what we could do. It's so frustrating.
And you have Carly talking to Joss, trying to get her to drop her whole thing with, Sonny, who you get. I mean, all that, I don't even care about that anymore either. I'm like, Joss and Michael both are spoiled little brats, and the way they're running them, and I'm just not even interested.
It's just, it is, and even when the Nina stuff of it comes out, it's also still not going to take away from the fact that, but Carly did it. Nina didn't lie about anything.
Right.
She just, certainly she put her mouth. She told the truth that but she did it just to hurt somebody.
Right.
But it still was a truth.
Yes.
Like
girlfriend still did wrong, folks. She still did wrong, and
yeah.
So, and but even the Nina stuff, even she's so unlikable. They're just writing her more and more into a corner. I just don't. There's nothing about Nina that I even care for anymore, because I do feel, I know Monon's like, I'm not convinced Sonny will dump Nina I'm like, he will dump her. He's gonna dump her. That's what he's gonna do, because he doesn't like to be lied to like that. And she'd have kids with them. So the greater story, when it comes to women with kids, he's like a little more whatever. He's gonna dump her. He's gonna totally dump her, and it's gonna be bad, and it's gonna fall apart. And I'm sure Homegirl's do a great job in the acting department. She'll do her thing, but I'm like, I'm not even interested in all that. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. The storyline, you can't root for them. At one point, I was rooting for them, but now I can't root for them.
Yeah.
Because now it's just one bad thing after another. When you got Ava telling you you're stupid, then you know something wrong. And so I'm like, and now it's this Eddie Maine. Let's go into, because it literally leads into that, the Eddie Maine stuff. And now she's encouraging that. Obviously, she's going to.
Oh yeah, like, why be in the small little town? You should be somewhere bigger.
Right, bigger. Yes. And then Olivia over there, mess over there. I mean, I'd run for her too. Shit, she was getting on my nerves also. I'm like, she's a little too much. But but it was kind of funny. They brought the picture book out, and there's young Wally Kurth.
Look at him.
His dad.
And I can't really remember this person that I'm with. The name's on the tip of my tongue.
I know somebody, and it was Rita Sofer. It was when she was Lois. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think I guess what's weird about this thing, Frank. So he should have been, okay, if he thinks he's Eddie Maine, why doesn't he remember Sonny?
It's weird because he was, he was chummy with them, involved in L&B.
He should know Sonny, Brenda, Lois. I mean, he should be. But I play it like he's just this guy who's always been Eddie Maine, but yet he says, that looks like me. I remember that from the 90s. Like,
yeah, I remember that guitar.
And then Olivia, you remember a guitar? And now I'm like, okay, you need to go, Olivia. You're too much. You need to go. You should stay in the kitchen. I know, you go back in the kitchen, because girl, you got mine. I was like, I don't even want you guys back together either. You're just too much. But I was just kind of like, this part of the writing is a little weird, because yes, Eddie Maine wasn't a personality, wasn't a split personality, it was a personality on stage. And but you should remember Tracy also. I guess I feel like it should be, it's just, that's one part of the storyline I'm kind of liking. It's him playing, it's giving Ned and Frank, I thought of you. I mean, they're giving him a storyline. I mean, he's on almost every day.
No, that's true. But it's also the bummer part. It's like, why are you teasing us with Eddie Maine if you're not that scene with him over at the nightclub where he sneaks onto stage and grabs that guitar, like, oh, you're not an
Yeah,
opening act? Well, here you go. Like, at least give him the moment to sing,
I know.
instead of like, oh, I'm still woozy from my head injury. I'm gonna fall down. It's like, come on. What's the point then?
I agree.
Like, let everybody see like the Eddie Maine of old come back and be like, whoa, geez, I haven't seen Ned like this in forever. It's one thing to see him at the nurses' ball before, but in full Eddie Maine mode, yeah, and give us a moment like, whoa, this is definitely a different side of Ned that I have not seen.
Yes. Oh, and Shonda brings up a good point. You know how you do this point, Shonda, but it's very like we need to see Nina deceive another amnesiac after Nixon falls. You're right, she's literally repeating a cycle.
Yeah.
Save herself.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess the whole thing that what Nina did was crappy, but it wasn't dishonest. Is like, I feel like that's what the show is going to be like, trying to stick to when the truth does come out. It's like, but they did this, and I just told them, I just told what was they honestly did. So I feel like that's like, if Nina had set it all up, then truly irredeemable.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was something that genuinely happened, and it only just happened to be that Nina was the one that just told the authorities about it.
And you saw that little off comment that Chase said to Brooklyn, oh, there's a witness. Well, who? Nina.
Yeah.
Put that back in your mind, girl. It's that. So, oh my God. Because that
which would be fine if I just don't need to see any more scenes of like Nina near Chase, and then it cuts to Chase as he's kind of like looking like, I don't need to see more of those scenes. Got it. Message received.
But then it's like, I don't know where to go from there, because you have the ridiculousness of Tracy's working with someone, we find out, working with someone, just like Martin is working with someone, because the whole Deceptor thing, unless they're working together, whatever. But she's blackmailing Brooklyn at Deception, yet they give us a sweet moment that really was kind of sweet between Brooklyn and Maxie.
Yeah.
That was a sweet moment of Maxie. I was thinking, yeah, girl, you got out of that house. You got 3 kids and 2 bedrooms. And her saying it was basically because of Nathan. And that was actually realistic. That was very realistic. I'm going through something right now. My mom's going through that right now. She's had a birthday. Everybody, thank you for my mother's birthday wishes. She had a birthday a couple days ago. There are certain restaurants we didn't go to because she reminded her husband. So I kind of get it. And so she was talking about just plainly and how far they've come. So now you want to mess up their relationship, I guess, because you're going to come out at some point. It's going to come out.
Yeah. It was great that they actually mentioned the kid, because yeah, for such a thing as like, you're always going to be a part of her life. When was the last time you saw any of that? Well, like, when was the last time you even saw that kid? I mean, you see a little bit of Nathan's kid, but that was it. Yeah. So and also at no time does she mention, it's like, I need better security for the Colonel's secret recipe. I just can't right now. I'm just keeping it in this little box on the mantle, or on a shelf on my bookshelf in my place. That's the reason I can't leave. Because what if the Colonel comes back for this recipe and I'm not there?
Oh, there's just some big mistakes back there. And yes, the Colonel. Yes. So we have that going on, and she gives the flash drive to Grandma, and so now Grandma has it for somebody. It's all going to come out, and I mean, just like we work so hard to see Brooklyn and Maxie work together, come together. It's like, I don't mess that up.
But also, like, who gets that? Who gets the files off of Max's computer, yet leaves her salad behind like a garbage person?
Yeah, I know.
Just clean up after yourself, Brooklyn.
Yes, Frank went there. My chest, like, okay, now Frank going there laughing. Yeah, Frank went there. The secret recipe. Yeah, he went there. Yes, they're all laughing in the chat. Speaking of the chat, there are 64 people. Thank you. Only 26 likes, so please, if you hate us, hate to like us, hit that like button. It helps me out. It gets things.
There you go.
There is a rumor. Yes, I've heard Erica Kane is coming.
That would be the only thing that would be interesting if wife number
Exactly.
3 was
Erica
Erica
Kane.
Kane. And it does because if Jackson Montgomery is showing up,
Exactly.
fantastic. Yeah, to see Walt Wiley and Walt Willie and Michael Unite have a scene together would be cool.
Yes. Frank still remembers that. Yes, Frank still remembers that the recipe is there. Yes, he does.
I will never forget that ever.
He'll never forget it. When that thing happened, Frank was so flabbergasted. He was like, he'll always remember that.
That was one of the seminal moments of General Hospital ever. It is the Colonel visiting Maxie and Lulu and leaving the secret recipe behind. Luca Laura's wedding, way down in terms of seminal landmark GH moments.
Yes. But yes, however, yes, if Erica Kane comes on for an appearance, I'm down. I'll be down. That would be hilarious if she's the third wife. But I feel like we're all hoping that is not going to happen. Again, with Frank, I have no idea. The ex-wives of Martin could be interesting. Maybe again, we don't see enough of him. So maybe we're going to see more of him. That'll be great also. Again, it's all about this. I know you got to rotate, but for me, you got to I got to feel something. So I need to see them on screen enough to feel something. And we like Martin on some level, but
I do like Martin, but don't tease me with the idea of these 3 wives.
Right.
And how dangerous it would be if any of them showed back up in his life and then not follow through on it. Again, GH, a great tease, but you need to follow through.
Okay.
But props to the storyline, because what it did get us was one more shirtless scene with Mac at the pool.
Hey, I thought of you. I was like, oh, Mac, 57 years old, showing off that little piece of abs and everything.
Yeah, look at that silver fox.
He worked it out. John J. York, congratulations. you worked. I thought of you. I saw us taking this. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. Yeah, give John J. Give him some props. You hold it down for the old folks. Yes, he is.
But thankfully, it was also an opportunity to give us another flashback to Martin falling into the pool again.
Oh, Mac Daddy, yes. They like to build our hopes up and let us down all at the same time. It's very true. Yeah, Lucy and this whole, he doesn't want to marry me. I'm like, what's going on? Like, give Lynn Herring some better to do, please. That's just not. She's been married a million times. He's been married a million times. Who cares? But I did like her whole thing about I'm trying to get my friends back, kind of because of me and Doc. They broke up.
Yeah.
That's realistic a little bit. So okay, I get that part.
And and I did appreciate Martin and Mac's conversation, and Mac's read on Lucy.
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, don't take her away her agency. Don't think she's dumb. It's like, and given Martin's fear of his 3 wives, I do like, it's like, oh wait, Mac laughing about Lucy. It's like, oh no, you've not seen her her bad side then. If you're all thinking that Lucy's all
right,
rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah, that was funny. I'm just like, I don't know kids.
Oh, speaking of Martin, we also have Martin going to be the the temporary kind of guardian sort of Spencer and Esme while Laura is out of town. The only thing I liked about that is for that scene where it looked like Jeannie Francis genuinely broke on camera and they kept it in.
That part is so yeah. That part was I'll give you point. That part was funny. I think she did break on camera. They just kept it in, like a brother sister thing kind of thing.
That's like the most I was like that. It's been like the most kind of personality that it's just nice to like. There are times where it's like, yeah, let's have some humor in these soaps, and seeing people actually laugh at stuff, and so I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I guess. I can't get excited about that either. I mean, we already haven't seen them there already. We were seeing Esme and them with the shirt. I mean, yeah.
Laura, what do you think of Laura's decorating style, though? That we get a really good look at Spencer's room. I was like, boy, it's just very, it's like very, futuristic.
Yeah, I have no comment.
All right.
I really don't. I was like, it was like a sterile set to me. It was just very sterile. I'm like, there's no personality in there for me. So I just didn't.
Where's like that awkward photo that
Right.
that Laura really loves, but she can't find anywhere else, and she puts in this guest room.
Right. Exactly.
I gotta look at this the whole
Yes,
time.
exactly.
Is this picture here?
Yeah. Okay, we got to move on to other episodes, other stuff. I won't be on here for 10 years. So this horrible show this week. Another storyline that I'm just like, Avery gets kidnapped, but not really kidnapped. Well, I was like, at first I was like, oh my God. And at first I was like, ooh, okay. Mason went there or whatever. And then and I found her by the pool or whatever the fuck she was, right, wherever she was. And it was like, okay. They called Sonny over and everything. And poor Pilar. So I guess she's out of a job because they're trying to save her or whatever. I was just like, this is bullshit, first of all. And when she slapped her, I was like, that's right, bitch. This motherfucker he started something. I was just like, but then they have sex. Back in the house.
There you go.
So Frank, what are your thoughts?
It's so I guess this is farewell to Pilar. It's like,
yeah, bye. Sorry, girl.
It was because even like when Austin was like, well, see, and now Pilar, she's out of the picture now. I'm like, she is? I mean, it didn't seem like they were getting rid of her, but all right, I guess they are. I don't, this whole storyline is just so stupid. And the fact that Mason is like, oh yeah, like it is he's this mysterious big bad, and we can't tell Ava who's really behind the scenes of Mason. But they all are dialed into all this stuff for Mason and his team of bad guys or whoever this crime family that he's in, also not to know the nature of Sonny and Ava's relationship, and just know that the only reason that Ava is alive and breathing is because of Avery. So they're not close, they're not chummy, they're not friends, they don't hang out. Ava's not like privy, Sonny's not sharing secrets with her. And so I'm completely with Ava with this, where it's like, I don't know what you're expecting. We are not friendly in any sort of stretch. He tolerates me at best, only because of our daughter. That is it.
Literally.
Yeah. Basically, like, oh, hey, you gotta get in there. You gotta get this.
Hey, cuz.
It's just like an excellent idea, but the wrong execution, because that relationship does not exist where Ava is going to be able to have any sort of access to any of that information.
I agree. And as Frank and I always talk about pacing, this has gone on too long anyway. I'm like, Ava, who are you working for? I need some kind of clue. They've ruled out a couple people already, but like, give me something. Give the audience something. Give us something. Because I'm just like, I don't understand why it's so serious. And it's like, she's a Jerome. Like, come on, folks. She tells people like this for. Like, I want to know what it is that it's. Yeah, I need to know. And this Pikeman deal that people are kind of part of, but it's not on enough for us to even care about that either.
Yeah, and I was wanting Ava to push back on Mason when he goes, oh, we got some of your hair fibers. And I wanted Ava to be like, well, yeah, because, we were married and we were together. It's like, well, you were the last person that saw him. Like, great. Yeah, I've already told, as far as the cops know, that's what they know. But they already know I was the last person that saw him. Right. I told him that he was there at Windermere and then he left. So I wanted Ava to push back, like, go ahead, tell the cops. Because it's also like Mason can't, because he's the one that's holding Nicholas. Nicholas is not dead. So it's not like Mason can be sitting there like, I've got, definite evidence. I've got a dead body here. No, I do have a live body. And if I were to tell the cops, that would get them investigating something that I wanted to find out. It's like, come on. I really wanted Ava just to push back. Like, get out of here.
Me too.
But I agree with you. At this point, even if you're not going to let Ava in on with this, let the viewers in on this, because this is just ridiculous. It's tiresome to watch Ava be confused about this. And so at least let us know. So the viewers are like, oh, yeah, Ava better not find out because that's too crazy. But again, it's like you said, JH says this as well. It's like they set up this terrible threat. And then when it actually comes, or this mystery, like, whatever this mystery is, we can't find out what this is. And then when you find it out, it's always like, that's it? That's it? Okay. All right. If you hadn't have dragged it out for so long and it just kind of, filled us in, we were like, all right, we're going with you on this. But when you make it, you build the audience up like, well, we can't tell you yet. But when you find out, it's going to blow your mind. And then it doesn't blow our mind. It's like, how many times has that happened with GH?
I agree with you, Frank.
Yeah. So I have no reason to believe that when whoever is revealed to be behind Mason and Austin and their family, like, oh, okay. Why didn't you tell us sooner?
I agree. Like I said, I have nothing to add. Everything you're saying, I totally agree with. It's just, it's going on too long. Again, it's going on too long.
Certainly, not the brightest starts of a soap opera relationship, but there have been worse. There have been better. How do you feel about the Ava and Austin as a potential couple?
I at first was intrigued. Now I don't want them together. He got her into this mess. So now I'm like, well, I helped you, blah, blah, that's fine. But now she's some weird mess. And I'm just like, I don't get any of it at this point. And so I was intrigued at first. Now I don't care. Marlon Wallace says, Frank, I'm guessing you like TV series Lost.
There are frustrating things in that for sure. The difficult thing about that too was, you don't a TV series does not know how long it's going to run, especially if a network is like, ooh, this is a hit. We want this to keep airing because it's doing well for us, which makes it hard for the creators to be able to kind of execute maybe their vision of what they wanted to do. So then you got a lot of spinning wheels and a lot of teases and misdirections to keep a show going. But I think once Lost finally planted their flag and said, hey, we're ending at the end of this season, and the network said, okay, they were able to start writing towards the ending. And that doesn't mean that every answer they gave or didn't give was something that the fans loved. Certainly fans felt a lot of different ways about that ending. Some loved it, some didn't. Some thought a lot of questions weren't addressed that they wished had been answered. But they chose to write the end the story the way that they wanted to. So overall, I'm down with Lost.
I'd Lost also, except for season 3.
How can you? For me, like the ending where you've got Jack back on the island and the dog comes over, just like, so I didn't find out who was shooting at the other people on the raft.
Or why there was a polar bear, or why there was the black smoke. We didn't know all that stuff. I liked the ending. It's another story. I liked the ending. So I didn't.
Emotionally, I cried. I cried at the end of that.
Yeah, I liked it. I had no problem with it. So they were in purgatory. I'd like to know more about Austin. Right. 2 years. That's another thing. 2 years. We still don't know anything about him.
Yeah, but that's
he's a Quartermain and not with the Quartermain. So I got so many problems with him too.
Yes, a character that so much potential that has been squandered consistently with that character. For every inane scene with him and Maxie during the Peter storyline, it could have been something that could have been with the Quartermains and getting him more entrenched in there. Like that, what a disservice to both the Quartermains and Austin as a character to just do everything that they could to just remove that kind of connection.
Because remember, I like the whole fighting cousins between him and Brooklyn. They were coming closer together. They were starting to kind of, that's not even, Frank, you cried about something that you were dead thought you were dead inside.
I know. Trust me, it was an uncomfortable feeling. Like, what is this stuff falling down my face? What is this?
It's so funny.
Feeling these things.
Yeah. I'm all wet. No, it's so the character Austin Gatlin Holt bugs me because there's so many things I think are wrong, and I think but I don't mind the character, and I like Roger Howarth, but there's so many things that they're not writing for that I was like. But I have to say one thing I did enjoy, because I have to, because I feel like I'm ready to drown in my sorrows after we get off of here and go drink and eat my hair. So I gotta say something positive.
Do it.
I really enjoyed Sasha and Sonny's conversation.
Agreed.
That was actually, again, they could show us glimpses of greatness. That was great dialogue, great connection. She's family to him. Like he always checks in with her. They're very close. You know, at first there's whole thing about so-and-so Gladys. Well, I was like, but then they had to talk about mental health. It was just a regular conversation. It wasn't over the top. And it was just like, I loved it. Yeah. I loved it. I thought, what a great, it was wonderful, because we've actually watched Sasha go through the ups and downs. Sophia Matson is so good. We've watched her go through it. So it was kind of cool. Sonny's like an older relative to her. I just loved it. Amelia, I love, okay, you're not gonna bring me down. I loved it. I thought it was two people talking about mental health issues. I thought it was wonderful. So no one's gonna bring me down on this. This is one of the few things I like. Don't take it away from me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank.
I agree with you. I did enjoy that scene. I mean, certainly it ends with, what you always hear, like, if the fact that you're not sure if you're fine means you're fine. Like, we've heard that platitude a bazillion times. But there are scenes with Sonny where it's not mob related. It's just life related. Whether it's like a scene with Robin, where he's just, having a conversation like that, or Epiphany, or whoever. Yes. A scene like with Sonny and like Sasha in this case, it's just, we're just being human for a moment, amidst all this other stuff, and it's just two people connecting over something. And I do enjoy seeing Maurice in those scenes.
Me too. It was nice. It was understated. It was character driven. It was just like, because she is going through it and she's afraid, and and she goes, we're still family. I like that. It was just like, I never expected that. It's so funny. I never expected that. And she says, oh my God, her real name, Sophia Matson, just gave birth to her second child. So she'll probably be on leave for a little bit soon. But I'm just saying, that's one of the things I'm like, GH can do. Like, GH is funny because there are times when they do stuff like that where it's just kind of like, wow, this is where the good writing is. It's character driven, it's something good, but they have these conversations. Like we always say about the whole Tracy once in a while shows her softer side every once in a while. And when she does it, you're like, that's nice. I like it. She's still Tracy, but she has some heart, and family is important to her. When they show that, so like, that's good. When they show Brooklyn being a regular person, that's always good too. Like when it's just over the top, it's like, like I said, her and Maxie, great conversation. But it's hard because we know she's deceiving Maxie also. So it's kind of like, because of Trace, it's like, do we need that part really? And Chase is going to find out, of course. Do we need that really? I'm going in the future, going, it's already storyline I don't want to see coming up. That's the problem. You're like, because it will come out, it will happen, and blah, blah, blah. It is. So it's like, it's a soap opera. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I just think it's just interesting. I think it's,
they would say with Sonny, like, the mobster with the heart of gold. And, it's like, people are like, oh boy, why are like Sonny and like, Jason so popular? Why are we doing this? Like, it's like scenes like this where it's just like, you're seeing just like a human connection with somebody. It's like and it makes you like, oh, hey, how could Sonny be that bad if here he is just having a really just decent heart-to-heart talk with just a regular person about life? Boy, I guess he's all right. And that's sometimes the failings of like a Cyrus. Let's see, as much as I enjoy Jeffrey Cobra, but there are times where it's like any sort of bad guy. Like the only way you're going to make me really kind of like dig into like a bad guy is like I need to see those human moments too.
Yeah.
Because they're not always going to be a monster 24/7. There's going to be somebody or something in their life that they're going to be kind of caring about. If you really want me to invest in them a long time, if you want to just make them the big bad of the storyline, and they're just there to just be like, I am evil, and that's my job for X amount of time that I'm in this show. Okay, great. Then show me them just being a despicable person and make me hate them and be excited for them to get beat. But if you want me to like also have any sort of rooting interest in them, then I need to see those sort of scenes too, where I'm just like, yeah, all right, I can get with that. Why this person's here. All right, I want to see more of them.
Yeah. I want to bring somebody else. Like, who do I want to bring up? Oh, and one of the last things, actually, because I think we talked about everything, is Anna. And you know what? I know some folks don't like this storyline, but to me, Finola Hughes is giving us some quiet performances, from burning her past to talk with Laura and Felicia, two people who've made mistakes themselves, being on her side, to Valentine. I think Anna is questioning her life. She said exactly what it is. I've been this way for this thing for so long. Now I'm not. So now what? And I totally understand that. I actually didn't mind her performances this week about that. She's kind of moping around, trying to figure this out. I totally get it. I totally get it. No problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, and that is like the familiar thing that we've seen. Like, I've got red on my ledger, and how can I ever, I need to make up for that.
Right.
I've seen that so many times used as as a motivation for a character, which I completely understand. But there's something about like, Anna being a double agent was so long ago. And she's done so much since then that it's
right.
Like while unfortunate that this all came out for sure, there's something like, hey, what happens to the person that they have made up for past mistakes? They've kind of squared their ledger. Then what happens next? I'd be down to see. That's not something I've seen before, where it's like, oh yeah, I feel like I've made up for all my past sins, and now what do I do? Certainly not what GH is doing, but I don't know. For me, that seems the more interesting thing. It's not something that I've seen before in TV shows or films, so it'd be cool to see that. But right now it's going to be Anna fighting against graffiti artists, and so I mean that's a choice, I guess.
Murderer. That part's dumb.
Well, yeah, this to read this article on stuff that happened. Oh God, 35, 40 years ago. Like, now, right, murderer.
That part's dumb. But her going through this, that makes sense to me. I can see that. Reevaluating her life. That didn't bother me. Compared to everything else in the show, that didn't bother me.
It didn't bother me, but it's also just like, yeah, I don't know. For me, it felt like a little bit too cliche of that storyline. It's like, give me a spin on it, GH. Give me a little bit, just a tweak where it's like, all right, this sucks for sure, but I've done a lot of good to make up for all my bad. So now what's my next step? Because I can't do what I used to do. So how can I continue to still want to do good for people? Take away from the motivation of like, I got to square my ledger, as opposed to like, I like helping people. And I've got these skills and I can't use them now in what I used to do. So now how can I best use these skills to help others? I don't know. That to me would be a little bit more interesting. And I don't know what the show's got in plan for her.
I don't either. I think we covered everybody because there's a lot of folks we didn't see this week. So was Willow on this week? Did I miss it? Was she on?
No.
Thank God. We didn't see Hat Daddy. We didn't see him. Then we didn't see Aunt Stella. We didn't see him. I think that we talked. We had that's it, kids. We talked about everybody on the show.
Yeah.
I think, folks. We got through it, Frank. We got through it.
It would be possible, but you know what? We did it.
And folks at home who are listening to this, a lot of you guys, I want to say the number one show on my network is JHB Spotlight. That's my number one show on the network, video and audio. So thank you so much for all your support. Frank and I appreciate it. You want to listen to our mouths running every week.
James, you come to James. You tolerate me.
I think they come for Frank and they tolerate me. But either way, they're listening to us. And some of you guys listen to us audio. I heard on Monday mornings. So happy Monday to those of you guys who are listening on Monday morning, Frank.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe you're taking it off, enjoying an extra long weekend.
Oh, that's right. 4th of July is in 2 days. So
right.
If you're celebrating, happy 4th, I guess, I will be inside hiding from all the fireworks that are already starting already and get on my nerves at night. And folks, if you're on Instagram, this week starting tomorrow night, if I can stay awake, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, James is bringing back the pandemic hits, Talk a Lot with James Lott Jr. I will be on for 5 nights, Frank, this week. I
hope that you stay on and the show ends always with you just falling asleep.
Yes.
You don't even have time to end the stream. You just pass out.
I will be in bed. Like the old show. We'll see who drops by. We'll see who stops in. It's going to be a very interesting people. I'm bringing it back for a week, so I will be on. So if you want to check it out, I will be on. I'll be on there.
It's a JLJ Media special event.
Yes, it is. Yes. Oh, also check out all the programming in JLJ Media. We have lots of programming here, and this show, YouTube, JLJ Media, all audio streaming service platforms. JHB Spotlight on Facebook. I was like, we got a lot of people coming on this, so thank you for joining us. All kind of stuff. And Frank Rand's at Jappy Go Jackie, Frank, right? You staying on Twitter?
I still am there. I feel like James, it really, it's worth investing in a JLJ Media special event graphic, much like the networks, where it kind of just spins and just lands in. It's a special presentation, kind of let you know, like this is this is not something you see every day at JLJ.
No, they're laughing. They're like, yeah, James, just pass out. I'm like,
that's it. I would love that. You just wake up in the morning and like, oh, it's still on.
We're going. Who's watching? Yes. And there's a new thing happening here now. There's hearts and hundreds. I don't know how you guys are doing that because I can't do it on mine, but thank you here on YouTube. It's a new thing. I love it. You guys are like hearting us. I don't know how you're doing it. It's weird to see it on here. I'm like, wow, it's crazy. I'm aware all James Lott Jr. sold and James Lott Jr. on social media platforms, including TikTok, where I do my food reviews, product reviews. I have an unboxing to do, and my dog Lucy. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Art in Target. I saw that.
Oh yeah, that's it. I was telling you. Follow my reels, all my stories. They're fun. But we'll see you next week if we decide to come back. Bye.